Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everything Kind of Soccer. Jordy here. This is the first ever video edition of the Power Rankings, of the Canadian Power Rankings. So basically, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to go down from the first place all the way down to the 11th place and just give 30 seconds on why I have picked each team for where they are. Now, it's so easy to pick Montreal as the ones to be top this week. 7 games unbeaten now. They've been dominant in their performances and have shown that they are Canada's best team by far, which, as the moment, doesn't really have much competition, but they are easily Canada's best team, and I couldn't pick them for any other position. But in second, we have a new team, and that is York United. Now, what you're thinking is York United in second place in the country, the best Premier League team right now? You might be questioning that, but hear me out. Okay, the last 3 games, York United have been the best team in the league. They beat Cavalry 2-0 quite convincingly, and then they've gone and beaten Forge in the 401 derby. Out of the 3 games, I'm sorry, but the top 2 teams in the league, while managing to scrape a tie against Atletico with a man down, they have shown that they are resilient, and they have shown that they are hard to beat, which is why they've moved up all the way to the second position. And third, Pacific FC. Now, I had the choice to put them down one more, but I had to keep them there because they still do control games. Against Atletico, they were a bit dominated in terms of chances and expected goals, which makes me think, are they all sizzle no sting, so to speak? Like, they can control the ball really well, but when it really matters, can they keep this up? I mean, you can always point to the fact that, yeah, they played bad, but they still got the win, but you can only do that so much over the course of a season, and it'll tax you. So they need to find a way in order to, they are down in games, but they need to find out how to equal that into actual clear-cut chances and finishing them. It's a dodgy win, but I keep them third because I think that's where they deserve to be. Now in fourth, easy pick, Halifax. They were second last week. Bit of a setback this week, not too much. Boring 0-0 draw. It is what it is. They don't deserve to go lower than fourth because I don't think one performance will stand out entirely. These rankings are based out on form and who the hottest team is, and I truly don't think that they are any lower than fourth. They've been consistent this season, and I think these rankings prove it. They're highly entertaining, and whenever they're home, you have to watch because the fans there are absolutely amazing. They have the highest attendance record this season with about 6,000, so that's great in terms of growth. Now on to Cavalry. They've dominated a weak Edmonton team, and honestly, they've been warming up. They've been heating up, and they deserve to move up to fifth. Injured players are coming back, and so with kind of a half and half squad, Ali Musi and Joe Mason are really showing that they could be the 2 players that are standing on this team for the rest of the season. It's thrice now that they have both scored in a game this season. So Valor moves down a spot from last week, mostly just because they tied 0-0, didn't score, didn't really show that they deserve to move up or to stay where they are, and Cavalry a bit hotter at the moment, but that can easily turn around. They put 6 past Atletico with ease just a couple weeks ago. I expect them to move up, honestly. Atletico, Atletico Ottawa moved down. Now, this was tough because obviously they dominated against Pacific FC in terms of chances. Maybe not possession, but they definitely had more clear-cut chances, and I'd probably say the better team in terms of all that. But this league can be ruthless. You gotta finish your chances. To register as many shots as they did and to not get a single goal, like it's got to be better. They're on the right path, but they do move down. Now Atletico are just ahead of Forge, who are in some shaky form. Let's be honest; they've only won 1 game, and as the Canadian Premier League's podcast talked about or Christian Jack talked about how they perform well when there's a lot of games. They played about 40 games in 160 days last season, and that does help, especially with the big squad they have. Now they're kind of mishap. It's about a week between games. It was even 2 weeks before their last game because of COVID. They weren't able to play, but they got to figure out a way in order to change that. to flip that over. They're two-time champions for a reason, and I fully expect them to make the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, but in terms of form, they're fourth to last. So something's got to change, whether it be player, whether finding the right positions, injuries coming back, but it'll be interesting to see where they are. What? Not too much to really talk about these last three teams. Whitecaps, ninth, yeah. They were lucky, 90th minute winner, and a wrongfully disallowed goal from Toronto sees them move just up one spot, but geez, they're horrible, aren't they? Along with Toronto, I'll just move them together. Just so poor this season, and that's just an unlucky break for them. But like I said with Atletico, you have to take your chances when you can. Even though that one's wrongfully, you can't have excuses. You must earlier in the game you got to score. You can't leave it late. And it's tough against the Whitecaps team, but hey, those are what Canadian derbies are for, right? And lastly, we have FC Edmonton. Now, they are the worst team in Canada, and as a Calgarian, I'm proud to say that, obviously. But at the same time, in hockey, we have such a great rivalry with them, but it's just not lived up to the billing. You have owners that don't care about them. You have players that, well, they'll move out as soon as they can. Look at Amir Didic moving to Pacific FC. It's not a desirable place to live or play at the moment. Now, if you get the right owners behind the team, like Cavalry or Halifax, who they want to create a culture, because Alphonso Davies came from this club. I've played teams in Edmonton in my youth career. They bring forth great players and great systems. They still do as a coach. But they need a shake-up or maybe even a rebrand. We could talk about it in a later video, but something about it's not right, and they're deservedly last because, well, they just offer no fight against Calgary, that's for sure. But yeah. So, yep, that's it for this week's Power Rankings. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.